Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today I'm joined by my good friend, the stupendous Mr. Zach. Say hello.
I am Mr. Zach.
It's true. He's not lying. Zach, where were we this past weekend? We were somewhere, right? We did something special.
We were in Seattle, right? There was something going on in Seattle.
Yeah. It's besides the food. It's just I'm coming up blank right now.
PAX.
Oh yes.
Yes.
We were in Seattle for PAX West. This is actually the first time that either of us have been to PAX before either. But it was quite a bit of fun. We did a lot of stuff. We played the Pokemon TCG.
Got a lot of pins.
Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of cosplays. Oh, we also did my Earthbound panel. That's right. We did that. We showed off the Earthbound documentary.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, man. Hey, thanks. You helped a lot with that too.
Oh,
so.
yeah. All that Mother footage?
Mother 3 footage. All came from you.
Mm-hmm.
Mega 64 was there. I bought the sweater from them.
Good sweater. Like it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We did some skits. We walked around and talked to some people, kind of like with neither of these mics, actually.
No.
But we also did something else while we were there. Didn't we, Zach?
Did we?
Yeah, I think it was something PAX is kind of known for.
The Penny Arcade.
Oh yeah, you traded pins. I didn't trade any pins at all.
Yep.
But we also played some video games.
Yes.
I know. Even I forget. There was so much going on there.
There was so much.
But we played a lot of video games for Nintendo Switch. I guess there was one or two maybe that we don't know that's confirmed for Switch yet. But there was a lot of really cool Switch stuff there. And there are a lot of people out there in this world that like to complain about the fact that there just aren't any games coming out. And I think we would like to tell those people that they're wrong and that there's lots of cool stuff coming out. So if you're interested in new Switch games, we have lots of stuff to tell you about.
I think we got a list of
like 60 games. I think we played like 60, 70, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe, I think we played almost every single game at PAX.
Yeah, we made our rounds thrice every day. Yeah,
multiple times played some of these games. Crazy. We didn't do that. So one of the first games we played there that really surprised me, I think, and I think you too, was Melatonin. And
yes,
it's like this, it's basically like Rhythm Heaven, right? Like you're kind of playing these different mini games in this kind of fun artsy world. There's music playing in the background. You have a character kind of moving around on screen, and it's very chill. Kind of like, I suppose Rhythm Heaven can be kind of stressful at times, but this, it felt a bit more relaxed, I think, to me. But
yeah, I think the music definitely lent a hand in it being as chill as it was.
That's fair.
Definitely with like that lo-fi, just what you'd imagine, just like laying in bed or just sitting on the couch doing nothing kind of music.
It was, yeah, you're right. Like the music, you could kind of throw that on like to study and relax to almost. I think it would just suit for that just fine.
Right.
But the music was good though. Like you could just, you might actually throw it on in the background. You don't have to just listen to it when you're playing the game but that was the vibe that I got, was that you're this like maybe like 25-year-old going through life, and whenever you fall asleep and dream is when the mini games pop up. And yeah, then your character just dreams about like real world things, right? Like buying too much stuff or enjoying buying things as opposed to the store, or
just unlimited splurging.
Yeah, or eating too much pizza and donuts. And what was there like a VR one that you played too, or
there
something?
Was like the video game one where it's just what would you call it, the dream setup, I guess. And
then there was it just like in Rhythm Heaven too, it did do the thing where it takes all the mini games that you play in the one portion, and then it kind of jumbles them all up for this kind of big remix match. You were telling me you wish that it flowed like a bit better, almost like the transitions between the scenes.
Yeah, like the transitions between the mini games. It seems like very like just harsh. Mm-hmm. And I understand it kind of just goes with the music. And if there was a slow enough transition, it would kind of take out the immersion. But I just felt like it could have been a little smoother or transitioned into each other. Like, you're flying in a chair, eating all of the food in that one mini game, but then like the chair could like drop you into your video game setup.
What you're pitching here too would like fit the whole dreamlight like world and state of everything that's going on too. So it's like, it's not out of the question that something like that could happen. And then we did play too like a few more levels that were a little bit further on that like we didn't get to record, but there was like a dating app, like swiping almost, like you're swiping left and
I like
right.
that
right?
music a lot. That was a good one.
Yeah. I don't remember which one it was that I did, and of course we don't have it recorded now, so I can't see it. But it was like an office worker one.
Oh yeah,
that
was trippy.
Yeah, you're like typing away like at a keyboard, like left and right. But the cool thing too actually was, so the game is played, from what it seems, we should have asked too if there were touch controls, but it seems like the game's entirely played with just buttons. And like for the first 4 mini games we did, it was like you just push the A button. And then I think the second set with like the dating app one and the office working, you use like the L and R buttons.
Yeah.
And that was cool to see that like the game eventually does implement like new ways to play, because I think that's one of the coolest parts of Rhythm Heaven is finding the different ways to like swipe and tap and just like see how much you could really do with the touchscreen and the stylus.
And what I really liked about it was just like the overall aesthetic of the game, how it kind of had like that Adult Swim, adult cartoon kind of vibe to it. I don't want to say like Rick and Morty, but more like maybe regular show kind of.
Yeah.
In the art style anyways.
If you were to strip away like the colors from Rick and Morty and make them kind of like pink and purple and like bubblegummy and
that soft gamer RPG, or not RPG, oh my god, RGB.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we also did see that there's an editor in the game, so you can edit the tracks, I'm assuming, or like maybe the button inputs.
Maybe, or like maybe there's like a huge, maybe not modding.
Oh, like a modding community, like almost could be built
maybe.
up around it.
You could
thinking
like
maybe
upload your own version of the level.
Sure.
Maybe to something.
Yeah, and we didn't get to mess around with the editor at all. But then there was also there was a hard mode too that we played,
right?
And like that, when you were doing the shooting, like the VR mini game within the game, I remember it removed the reticle when you were playing on hard, and I don't remember what the hard mode added to the other songs at all, or maybe we just didn't play hard mode on the other ones. But
you did hard mode with the shopping one.
Oh, I did?
You did.
Oh, was that? Oh yeah, the music changed, I think. We'll need to go back and look at it, but I was pretty confident in the moment that the song got faster, and I think the beat might have been the same. I could be wrong, but yeah, it felt different in that regard. It wasn't just like the VR one where all I noticed was the reticle, but I think you were playing the VR one, so I couldn't hear.
Right, yeah, I guess that was the only thing, is that we couldn't hear each other's music while we were playing.
So speaking of rhythm games, we also played another rhythm game. Now this one isn't confirmed for a Switch yet. It's only confirmed for PC, but I imagine based on the developer's track record that it probably
just because
will.
of the other 2 games that they've also published have come to Switch.
Right.
So.
No confirmation, but we also played Rift of the NecroDancer by the team that did Crypt of the NecroDancer and Cadence of Hyrule. And this was like kind of Rhythm Heaven themed in places. It's kind of like themed around a bunch of different Nintendo games, right?
Yeah, definitely was. But there are like 3 different parts of the game.
You're right, though. There were 3 different gameplay elements. There was like the first part, which was kind of like a highway, like Guitar Hero. But I forget, I should mention, the game only used 4 buttons, right? It was like on the keyboard, I think it was up, down, left, and right.
And then down, yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. And that was kind of like very, I don't want to say simple, because like all of the enemies that came at you like had different attack patterns. Like a bat, you would have to attack based on the color. You'd have to attack it multiple times, and then it would like fly into like the different like
depending on which way
right?
it was looking. He was telling us like, if you hit it, make sure you're looking which way it's looking, because that's the next one it's going to be at.
Oh, right. And then even too, like there were the skeletons, I think, that we attacked too. Like those had to be hit like multiple times, I think too, but they stayed in their lane at least. I'm trying to remember what kind of there were like slime.
Yeah,
enemies.
There were slimes that just took like extra hits, and then was it skeletons that had shields, or was it like a different enemy type?
Or maybe there was just a skeleton that had like skeletons that had shields, or skeletons that had armor or something like that. But you're right, like I don't remember what was so special about them, but it was cool to see the variety.
And I mean, it's simple in thought, but like Guitar Hero is also simple in thought, but that can get insane.
You're right, yeah. And we actually tried playing on like advanced mode, I think, which was, we were given 2 options, like beginner and advanced, and the advanced mode was like super tough. I was not prepared for that at all, especially like going in for the first time. We like didn't know what the enemies did and things like that.
Right.
And but it was still cool to see the potential of the fact that if you put in the time and effort and get good,
man.
there's a lot to get lost in. But then there was the second part of the game, which was like this Rhythm Heaven style mini game. I think is when that came up.
Yeah, the mini game mode.
Yeah, and we did like a yoga, I don't want to say battle, but it was like a yoga mini game that was kind of like the Rhythm Heaven mini game with the chorus kids.
Okay.
Where like you're chorus kids, you have to like wait for the other like chorus or the other kids in the chorus to like sing, and you have to like be in tune with them and everything, and then that's kind of
at the right time and everything.
Yeah, and this you almost had to like hold poses kind of in time with the other people in your class, and I kind of almost wished for a bit more, like, I don't want to use the word heart, but I felt like that the mini games just were lacking a bit of charm. I think like the whole package, like on paper when you looked at it, looked fun, but I think like the animations, or even it didn't have the energy of Rhythm Heaven, I think. And
interesting.
Maybe it was lacking like the additional characters, but in the moment I remember just feeling like it was over a little too quick, and it didn't feel like there were any surprises in the minigame section. But we still don't know when this game's coming out either.
That's true.
It could be a long ways off.
I actually felt the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. I unfortunately, I feel like I was sitting too far back, so I wasn't able to like read if there was any story that was given to us. But I went back to like Cadence's website, and it was just like you're helping Cadence with modern day things because she's not from the modern day.
Ah, okay. So like you're really playing as like Cadence and just doing.
Right. That's like if you just like ripped, if you
tasks.
just ripped Cadence right out of Hyrule or right out of the crypt and just threw into 2022.
Yikes.
Well, and there are probably more mini games that we unfortunately didn't get to try, or there weren't there to be demoed.
True.
So I'm sure that there is more of a story and stuff that we just unfortunately don't know yet.
Yeah, and you're right too. We don't know how many mini games there are going to be in the game, and I do think that it was like it's a great direction. I think I just wanted a bit more pizzazz in those mini games, and but then we played a boss battle as well, or I did, I think, and that was kind of like it played a lot like Punch Out, which was really bizarre that this Rift of the NecroDancer game has so many different gameplay elements in it. But basically, it seems like in the game, you'll do a few of those kind of like highway battles, like Guitar Hero. You'll do a mini game, and then you fight a boss. And I think they were saying that they have 4 bosses in the works right now. I don't know if there will be more or not, but I think that's what they were saying. And the boss battle was pretty fun because you had to kind of like duck and weave out of the way, and you had to wait for the right time, and you could punch and or like not punch, but like you'd play your guitar. I think is what Cadence had, but
and it's like in the beat of the rhythm of the song that you're playing too, right? You're just not like you're just
you're right, exactly. It's not like it wasn't as much like Punch Out. It just kind of looked and played like Punch Out, but with music as being like the guiding, like the music is the guiding light, I think, in a way. And you just also have to pay attention and not get punched in the face or slapped or whatever it is by the character you're against. But yeah, it was pretty cool, and I think it does. Having the different like gameplay elements like did a really good job of kind of not like making anything stale either, which was nice.
Just breaking up the cadence of the video game.
Hey, I like where your head's at.
Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it felt like as you were playing the demo and as I was watching it, that no parts of the game stuck around for too long, and there were a nice mix and a nice flow between all of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just hope that eventually we do get confirmation of this being on Switch, because even in the reveal trailer, they advertised Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the NecroDancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. So you'd think, which I can't believe I actually got that whole title out of my mouth, by the way. But you'd think that eventually it'll come to Switch. But yeah, right now,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's true. So we also stopped by Yacht Club's booth, and we played some Shovel Knight Dig. Yes. I feel like you might have played a little. Well, maybe we had an even amount of that.
I think so. Yeah. I think we split it up nice and even.
How did you feel about, or what is Shovel Knight Dig from what you recall?
It felt like an interesting marriage between SteamWorld Dig and Mr. Driller.
Oh yeah.
Or kind of like like an adventure. I mean, but with the Shovel Knight spin on it.
So you're basically digging down into the ground to find treasure, right? And as Shovel Knight, and you can't dig up at all. So like it does have that. Well, I guess Mr. Driller can dig up, but he can't go up. But yeah, in this you can't dig up at all. You can just dig left and right and down, and it has it's kind of like I don't want to say it's like a Metroidvania because it
is, but it isn't, right? Because it has like you can kind of keep some progress, like a Metro. I guess it's a roguelike. Yeah,
you're right. You can keep some progress because you have this like village up above where you will like meet new characters and you can buy items from there and develop stories with people but then you go down below and you'll just dig through caverns, and I guess you can take different paths and you find like there's all sorts of secrets and there's gears to collect that will like unlock extra doors and give you bonuses and
unlock characters that you find down in the
you're right,
the depths.
Yeah, you can like take characters back up above, right? If you find them down below and they can give you new items and maybe they'll open up a shop or something. It feels like one of those that like I want to be able to spend more time with it for sure, because I did terrible.
I also did terrible.
But it does seem like there's a lot of potential there, and that's coming to Switch, like mobile and PC, I think. So for now, like I believe we got confirmation that it's coming to other platforms eventually. But for now, like the only console it'll be on at launch is Switch, and I think that also comes out in September too.
Wow, so soon.
But speaking of what else Yacht Club is actually doing, they're also making Mina The Hollower.
Oh, yes.
And we got to play that there.
Yes, I was also terrible at that game.
Same. But it was so comfy, kind of in not a weird way, because it's basically like it looks like they took the bones of The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I guess you could say Link to the Past too, but I feel like to me it ties more directly to the Oracle games for some reason. Maybe it's just the graphical style.
No, and I understand.
Or the colors too.
Yeah, but I understand what you mean by comfy, because when you play a game that has or draws inspiration from those games that we played as a child, you also kind of like go back to, the days of like us in the late 90s.
Yeah.
With our blanket over our heads so mom and grandma and grandpa don't see us playing. And
exactly.
Got the little worm light over our Game Boy. Just
unplug the worm light when they come in the room.
Yeah,
like just turn the volume down super quick.
Yeah, just pretend you're sleeping.
Okay.
Okay, they're gone.
But you're right though, like it just the game really like evokes like those feelings that we did feel back then, but it introduces a bunch of new elements too, so Mina the Hollower feels a lot like he plays this little mouse character, right? And apparently she's a hollower, which I think just means that she can dig underground. There's probably a lot more to the story than just that, but basically kind of like you can dig underground like in Mania on the Game Boy, or there's another game though too that I thought you were bringing up that you can dig underground in as well, or maybe it's kind of like in Splatoon, actually.
Oh yeah, where you can go into squid mode and
yeah, you can go into the ink and then you can pop back out. But the one cool mechanic that I realized you could do in Mina when we were playing was there was these certain enemies. I don't remember if they were like mummies or what they were, but they were kind of slow. And when when she hollows and goes underground, she's faster, and you can actually like use that to like gain like speed and get above the mummies, and you can like basically like pop out and turn around and slap them right in the face with her whip, which is also super fun and like rewarding to use. Like the game seems to have a lot of like Castlevania inspiration with the whole like not medieval but like gothic world. But yeah, just like I loved that. It felt so good when I like slid underground and was like racing against the mummies, and just it felt good. Even though we did, like, both of us didn't do the best at the game, it felt like it was one of those that if you spend time with it, you'll get better, and there'll be a lot of fun, like, things to mess around with.
Right, that it'll be rewarding the more that you play at the...
Yeah.
Yes.
And you actually, like, when you were playing, I think you made it a lot further than I did, too. Like, you were fighting... Like, you were in, like, a graveyard, and you were fighting some, like, electric enemies or something, too, I thought.
You started it, and then I took over halfway through, and...
You're right. But I kept dying.
Yeah, I felt a lot of like what I was just trying to do as well is just see more of the game.
Sure.
Just burrowing underground to dodge the enemy so I could see more of what Mina had to offer. Because I don't think that we made it very far. I think I got it to like the entrance of some castle. It kind of gave me like Dracula's castle vibes.
Mm-hmm. And it actually looked a lot like talking again about like those nostalgic feelings that we had. It looked a lot like something that was running on Game Boy hardware, kind of in a way, like just because of the color palettes, and even like this intro cutscene that we got to see too, where the only thing I really remember is like Mina like looking up at this castle and lightning striking,
or her just like turning around and there's the castle right there.
Oh, you're right, yeah. And it just felt very I don't want to use the word believable, but I think actually Celia that was doing our demo said that they tried their best to make it look like what you remember Game Boy games looking like.
Yeah.
And I think they probably just, they nailed that right on the head with Shovel Knight as well, but Mina just feels like they're doing a different system now.
Right.
And, this new IP, new character and everything, and yeah, it was fun. When we get to play more, we'll let you know how it is. So this one we didn't actually play ourselves, Zach and I. We actually went with our contributor Austin to PAX as well, and she played a game called Mineko's Night Market, which I know a lot of viewers and listeners, readers of the site, Switch users in general have been kind of waiting to hear more about this game. And I honestly didn't remember a ton of it going in. Like I heard that it was kind of like an Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon game where you play as this little cat person that like runs a night market as you'd expect, and their name is Mineko or Mineko. But beyond that, I had no idea going in. I think this was the first time that the game was actually available to play too. So
yeah, I think that's what the person that was helping us demo it said.
Yeah, I think this game's been in development for quite a while now too, maybe 3 or 4 years at the very least. It feels like we've been talking about it on the channel for a long time. We didn't get to see too much of it either, maybe like 20 minutes. But from what Austin played, it seemed like she was kind of chatting with some villagers in this town. She built something, and then she went and like saved cats. It felt like half of the demo was like
her just going to save the cats. And
yeah, she went and like saved these cats from this like group of like FBI secret agents or something. I didn't really understand that entirely.
Were they the Mineks, or is that like something that?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I think the Mineks were the cats, I think. So even though it seemed like the majority of the demo was like Austin like catching these cats, like getting them away from the secret agents, the thing that I really appreciated about that was just how much like life and how much creativity was baked into that just individual mini game. So I don't think that like the secret agent thing is going to be something that pops up a lot throughout the game. Maybe it'll happen 1 or 2 more times, but it just kind of felt like a story mission that was fully fleshed out, that was just a part of the game. And my hope is that we'll have a lot more like silly little things to do like that throughout the game while you're kind of building up this night market, I suppose, and like inviting people to come sell their wares at your in your town. And from what we played, it's not an experience that you can like forget about. You know, I think you should, if you've been excited for this game, like just stay tuned, because it looks cool. It's cute.
It does look really good. There were some other really cool things about the game too, is that you had like a little heart meter up in the top too, and you're like, you go around, you pick stuff up, and it takes away your stamina. So I don't know if there is like a deadline that you need to get certain things done by, like certain fetch quests or.
Yeah, because your character's heart like depleted, and then they couldn't pick up items anymore or something, it seemed, but they didn't just pass out on the spot, which is what I thought, or what I think you and I thought was going to happen. I mean, there's definitely a day and night cycle, but I don't know if there's like a full on calendar like in a Story of Seasons game or something like that, or Stardew Valley.
Right.
But you played a few other games without me too, though. Were there any of them that really stood out?
I
for
did.
You?
There were a couple. There was Swapette Shodown, which is like a panel to pawn, or Tetris Attack. Had a bunch of very cute magical girls.
It was very colorful, right?
Exactly.
Like it looked like panel to pawn.
Yep. But yeah, there were a bunch of like cool different modes. I saw that there was like a standard mode. I watched a couple do that. And then I jumped in with somebody else and we did like 4-player PvP. It is only coming to Steam right now. But
No!
there is a Patreon for it. Oh, also to mention too that depending on which one you chose,
That straight up is Madoka Magica. Like, you're right. That one character.
the character that you chose, they moved the blocks around differently.
Oh, so like
So
they have
they're-
different abilities almost?
Correct, yeah. So there were 2 that I played. One was just you swap the 2 around like standard panel to pawn or Tetris attack. But then the second one I played was 4, and then it moved the pieces counterclockwise.
Interesting. I see what you mean.
And they also had like some abilities as well. I didn't fully understand or comprehend a lot of them. All I know is that the person that was there told me that one person slowed down time. And I tried my hardest to use them and find them because that seems broken.
I've heard people describe puzzle games as fighting games before, and this game, like the way you're describing this, the fact that like the characters actually have different abilities is kind of cool, because I don't know if I've played a puzzle game before that has like, if the characters really matter, you know. I'm trying to think of like if in Pokemon, like Puzzle League, or even in Panel or something like that, or Puyo. Like I don't know if the characters have ever mattered beyond just the flair of who you pick.
Right.
It is a bummer that this isn't confirmed for Switch yet, but I mean, there's nothing graphically stopping this game from coming over. So hopefully, maybe the devs will just hear us talking about it in this video, and then in a week you'll have a Switch confirmation.
Yeah, comment down below if you want Swapette Shodown to come to Switch. I was gonna ask you what you got to play while I was sleeping cozily in the hotel room.
Oh, right. Well, I want to end this discussion on a high note, and that game I think I have positives to say about. But this other game that we played, I don't know how I feel still. And that was Dragon Ball: The Breakers.
Oh.
That game is confirmed it's coming to Switch, and that actually comes out in maybe October. So Dragon Ball: The Breakers is a $20 Switch eShop title, digital. It might be coming physical with like bonus perks too. I don't know, but digital for sure. And it plays like Dead by Daylight, so it's like an asymmetric multiplayer game where one person plays as the villain, which can be like Cell or Frieza. I think there's some other villains maybe too.
There might be, and there'll probably be more to come too.
Right, and then 7 other people play as the survivors, or like there was a term for them that I can't remember offhand.
The Breakers, maybe?
It could be. But you're basically just trying to like find these keys and open these chests.
It was like you got some keys that like open up some power thing for you to beat the enemy or like escape from the enemy.
Yeah, we were never able to actually escape in the end. We saw someone escape in one of the matches.
We were close in our last game.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, that first game we got stomped.
Yeah, that was rough. And I think was kind of my problem with the game, was that the maps are huge. So it's very easy to get lost and like stray away from your teammates. And we never played as like the villain character, but it seems like they can fly around pretty fast.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just not easy to go and like heal someone necessarily.
Well, and the villain can just destroy entire sections of a map. So if you're like deep in collecting things or like finishing up, like putting a key down and they destroy the area and you're still in it, I felt like the time from a section being destroyed and you being able to get out was a little unfair.
I see what you mean. And it was hard to determine what sections of the map were what as well. Like I do think there was a bit of, we were kind of thrown into this game without like a whole lot of like there was no tutorial to play or anything like that. I think if we had a tutorial, I think we would have understood a lot more of the game better. Well, we played for a half an hour, and we just never found out if there was a map that we can actually open up, because the person that was demoing,
there was a map button.
There was?
Yeah, it was the options. We were playing on PlayStation 4.
Oh, right.
And it's not the share button. It was the options button. It pulled up a map.
So I missed that. Entirely.
But yeah, still, the maps are gigantic. Where do I need to go?
Yeah.
Like when you open up the map, I don't think that it shows you where your
like objectives
are.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, even where like the objectives are. Because when I found one of the keys in one of the sections, I was running around because I was like, where do I put this?
Yeah.
I think that you and I suffered from the same thing with that game, is that there was just
like a lot going on kind of in a way too.
There was, and maybe it was lack of knowledge on our part for not being able to like fully go through like a tutorial and really understand what's going on.
Sure. Did you notice too that what I understood was that the enemy's like reticle on the screen, you could always see where the enemy was and how far away they were from you and their like power level maybe or something like that, and it was red. And then I think whenever like your teammate would get hurt, their name would also, or their icon or whatever on the screen would also change to red. And so whenever I saw that,
you started running away from.
Yeah, like I couldn't always tell like what was the survivor character or the enemy. I didn't know what to run towards and what to run away from always. Like I eventually learned that like the enemy has like when they get close to you, like your heartbeat starts to raise or you hear like a heartbeat sound. And that was kind of neat. I enjoyed that. That's a Dead by Daylight thing too. But I liked that. And I did like the fact that the game was like super diverse in its objectives. It's like you could collect Dragon Balls, I think, that you could use to potentially get away with.
I wish we would have gotten all the Dragon Balls in just one.
That would have been sweet. And like you could power up to like fly around or potentially like beat up the enemy. There were tons of different items you could find. You could save survivors, I think, too. So like there was just a lot to do, and I think I enjoyed it a bit more than Dead by Daylight in that sense.
But there's still like a lack of direction.
Yeah, we just didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
So
and I think another thing too is that the only other time that you really get to fight these bad guys are in 1v1 fighting games. So this really gave the enemy characters throughout all of the arcs just a real intimidating presence. Like you could tell that they were just terrifying, and you were terrified of these enemies too, because they just showed up out of nowhere and like a couple hits and you're down.
That's true. And I suppose like once these characters as well kind of like evolve over time in the series, like Frieza, you know, has different stages, Cell, and I don't know if Boo is confirmed for the game, but Boo just functions similarly. It's scary to see like one of your teammates get kind of eaten almost.
Right, eaten by Cell, and then another level of Cell comes out, or destroyed by Frieza, and it's just all the different phases of Frieza.
You're right, though. Like that intimidation factor and like the fear really did set in, and I think that's something I kind of forgot about too. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it was intense. It was scary. But I do look forward to playing that game more, especially because I've personally been trying to play Dead by Daylight a bit, and I found it a bit boring, a bit tedious, and I'm not sure if you would have that same problem with the Breakers.
Oh, I played Cricket. Jay's Really Peculiar Game, I think, is the subtitle for it.
You play as a Cricket, like Jiminy Cricket?
No. The kid's name, I think, is Cricket.
Okay.
Or is it Jay? It really was just like, whoa, this is awesome. I guess think of Earthbound, where you get to just play as a group of kids with Paper Mario combat. Okay. The only little bit I played, I think it was you had Jay and Zach. And then I just like ran around town, did a little bit of combat, did the tutorial for it, and the combat's great. It's got the Paper Mario timing system. So if you press the button at the right time, then you're going to be doing more damage.
And it's turn-based combat then entirely?
It is turn-based, yeah.
Okay.
But it's one of those turn-based things where you get to choose everybody's action, and then they do it, and then it's your enemy's action.
Okay.
There's also this tide system as well. So if you do these combos or like the button inputs correctly or at the right time, then that increases your tide meter, and then you can expend your tide meter to slow down when enemies attack you, so you can get the inputs correctly. Or you can use it kind of how Bravely Default does, where you can just upgrade your attack a super bunch, and then you can adjust your attack is way more. Okay.
So you can kind of use it as like not a handicap, but like
if
you need help,
yes.
or go all in.
But your enemy also has a tide meter as well. So they're able to do something similar where they can just use a bunch of it to do a really big attack, or
Does it seem like, do you know what the threat was in this game potentially either? Like what were you fighting against?
The only thing I fought against was a squirrel with an acorn hat.
Lovely.
And I also
saw a big fan of acorns.
Right? Yeah. He's nuts about them.
God.
I also saw some people fighting some seagulls as well.
Okay.
But I think that's as much as I really got to see of it. I really wish that I would have gone back and played more of it, but I was really, really impressed by what I saw.
So I got to play a game that Kate Gray from Nintendo Life filled me in on a while ago this summer. It's called Demonschool. People that are fans of like Fire Emblem or Persona or just tactical RPGs or just kind of weird stuff in general, I think will be interested in this.
Wow.
So it's a tactical RPG where you play as this group of kids that are in this school.
A demon school?
I think they're on an island. And
a demon island?
Maybe. I don't know too much about it, but I do know that the island it's big, or at least it looks like it was big. There's a lot to do on it. But so you're on this island, and I think you're trying to like prevent the world from being taken over by demons or something like that, but you don't know why you've been taken here either, or if demons are even the problem. Like not. There's a lot going on, but it has like this really cool kind of. It has this like this hand-drawn art style, but it's very like manga-esque, and I think they were talking to me too that it looks like like all the characters have these like intense like eyelashes maybe, but like they just have intense eyes.
Features.
Yeah, kind of like a horror manga almost. But the interesting thing with the combat at least was that you'll kind of like see all 4 characters on the map at once. And you can move them like left and right and then up and down, and you can kind of plan out like a turn. Basically, you have like a certain amount of AP that you can spend on a turn. You can use that kind of not entirely like evenly amongst your party, but different characters can use that AP, and you'll kind of pick and choose like if you want to like have this character get boosted or have this person attack this enemy or what, and then you'll basically click begin, and all of your characters will then like pull off this kind of like all-out Persona attack almost, and it's super flashy, and it feels really cool when it all happens, because then it kind of like removes a lot of like the waiting that happens when you're playing like a turn-based RPG or a tactical RPG traditionally. Because like in Fire Emblem, like you'll move a person and you'll have them attack, and you have to watch the animation, and then you move another person and have them attack, and rinse and repeat. But here you kind of like skip all that, because all of your characters like pull off their moves all at once, and it feels like a big team, because they really like you're seeing them all fight together, and then the enemies attack, and so there's lots of like little battles sprinkled throughout the game like that, but then there's also these massive boss battles, and I got to take on one that they show in the reveal trailer, where you're fighting this like skeleton that pokes its finger down on the map, and you actually have to hit the finger in order for like the enemy's weak point to appear. And there's like areas on the map that like you don't want to be standing in, because like the skeleton will slap its hand down, and if I was even told like if certain enemies like get to the other side of the map, that they'll like rip a hole open in the map, and like more demons can come out.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just very intense, but I was having a lot of fun with it, and there's a lot of dialogue, and so there's a lot of characters to like spend time with, and I think there's even like there's not like equipment, but I think you can create relationships with characters, and you can boost your friendship with them, and then like based on like if they're standing next to each other, they'll do more damage, or they'll be able to defend better against certain enemy types or different things, and so it seems like a really deep game, and this game is confirmed for Switch, so we don't have to worry about that.
Good, because this game seems right up my alley.
I think you like it a lot. It was a little confusing at first, but like the demo, I think one of the lead developers was hanging out with me like while we were playing. We're like walking me through like how to play the game, and I think if I spent more time with it myself, I'd be just fine. They're creating a pretty special game here, and I love the art style too, because it feels a lot like something that would have been made on the Nintendo DS, maybe with the resolution, or just like the kind of enemy like character models that they created too.
Yeah.
But it's very it's also just kind of cozy in that regard as well, even though it's such like a spooky looking game. In regards to the battles too, you can skip any battle in the game. So if you end up playing something and it's too tough, you can just skip it and move on, and there's no penalty.
That's crazy. That must mean that the enemies then scale to you, and then you could just skip battles. That's kind of cool. I believe
they do. Yeah. The developers were saying that they wanted this game to kind of not. They don't want someone to play it and like not be able to beat something and be turned off from the game completely. Like if you want to play the game and you don't want to do the battles, you can be there just for the story and get by just fine. So there weren't like difficulty levels that they were talking about, but you can kind of choose how to play the game or to play certain parts and skip the others. It's a very accessible game in that regard, I think, because like if the skeleton monster that pokes its fingers down on the screen beats the crap out of you, like it beat us up, even though I was playing with one of the creators, you can just skip them, just bypass them and tell all your friends that you beat them, no problem. Yeah, it's just fine.
Don't lie to your friends.
It's just video games.
Yeah. It's not that
games.
serious,
It's
but
fine.
it is serious.
Well, we did play some other games at PAX as well, but we have already been recording for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so we probably shouldn't be talking anymore. But how did you enjoy PAX? How did it feel for you?
It was great. It was my first convention, like my first big video game convention. So it was amazing. And to know that this is, PAX is kind of where it's at, the size, who shows up. It's got me really excited for other events that I would love to attend.
Good. And I agree too that like it felt like we didn't have enough time to play everything. And we were busy, like we were playing games, we were doing stuff. There were so many cool games to check out. So let us know if you if any of these games in particular interest you. If you're gonna go wish list anything on the Nintendo Switch eShop, or you're gonna go tell the developers that you hope this game like comes to Switch, like Rift of the NecroDancer, let us know. And of course, if you went to PAX and there was something that you played that you wish we would have checked out, let us know in the comments down below. I really wish we would have got to play Raw Men. I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
That's like the one where you're just a bunch of burly men, like. Or maybe it's not just men. I'm not sure, but
it's my two favorite things in video games.
Yeah, and ramen.
Yeah,
ramen and
burly men and ramen.
Dang, Zach's got a type. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you go ahead and find a way to play that subscribe button at home. Even though the demo for the subscribe button was at PAX, let us know how if there's any way to interact with the subscribe button from home. Just let us know. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Zach, for going to PAX with me in general.
Thanks for bringing me.
Yeah, of course.
It was a blast.
I'm so glad we got to do it. It was insane. And where can people find you, Zach, on the internet, by the way?
They can find me pretty much at Twitter. That's a lot of just what I'm using. It's at Zach Driss, ZACHDRIS.
Nice. We will also leave that in the description down below so you can go show Zach some love. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Thank you, Zach, for joining me for this chat.
Oh, thank you, Zion from Nintendo Life, for having a chat with me.
Zion from Nintendo Life, good gravy. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time. Oh, you think the camera picked that up?
Welcome to Nintendo Life ASMR.